Edit. To all of you who DMed me to tell me about how fucking great polyamory is and that you're mad I gave it a bad name, you have issues if that's what you take away from this post. I believe it started when I was around 6 years old. My parents often had friends over in the house. I didn't know they were polyamorous OFC. One day I was outside playing, got hurt, and when I ran inside caught my parents making out with some random guy. They told me they have other adults that they love and it's a completely normal thing. Me being a child just accepted that. They gave up being secretive and their partners would constantly be around, even joining on outings. I remember that on my 10th birthday they invited 3 of their partners, one of who I'd never seen before, and for the rest of the day my parents just withdrew from my party and hung out with them. I never saw them doing anything explicit again, but they would kiss their partners, hug them, make flirty comments, something that would be normal between parents but with many more people. Sometimes I came home from school and my parents were gone and there was some random adult in our house. Some of them seemed surprised that my parents even had a child. I always hated it. But since my parents had told me this was normal, I assumed many adults probably did similar things and that it's just an adult thing all kids hate. Later they had less partners and eventually seemed to stop. Not that I'd know for sure. I moved out. With 17. I didn't think about it anymore. A year ago I started therapy, other reasons. As usual, the topic of my upbringing came up and it brought back many feelings I wasn't aware of. I realized that although my parents were always good to me, I had never really felt close to any of them and still have a lot of resentment that they made me feel like I had to compete for my parents' attention with random strangers. A while ago, I visited them and they told me they are going to take part in a documentary about polyamorous families and that the producers would like to include interviews with the children, so they would love if I could agree and tell everyone that polyamory doesn't mess kids up. All my resentment bubbled up and I said that I cannot agree because I would not be able to say anything positive. My parents looked shocked. I had never brought this up before, and asked why, and I unloaded all that I always felt pushed aside. We barely had any family time without strangers intruding. It turned into an argument and I became loud and yelled that the truth is it did fuck me up and they shouldn't have had a child if their number one priority was fucking the whole world. My mother cried and my father said I should probably leave. So I left and was shaken up for the rest of the week, but also felt regret because I've never made my mum cry before. Later my father sent me a message that was like, "We are sorry you feel that way. Can we have a calm discussion about this soon?" Even though I tried to, it's like I can't reply. This argument brought something very emotional up in me. AITA for hurting my parents over this, especially since I have never brought it up before.
NTA. Really? They would leave complete strangers in the house without them for you to come home to? They made their sex lives front and center and their priority. Any child would resent that.
NTA upside, your parents seem to be through obliviousness and neglect and might be open to apologizing and trying to fix what they can. Maybe message your dad that you are not in a place to talk at the moment and will get back to them, then talk to your therapist and develop a timeline for when and how you can talk. As to not bringing it up before, parents do not get the luxury of assuming everything is okay because the kid never complained. Parents have to ask, they have to check, and they have to find ways of communicating if the kid can't talk to them. Your parents screwed up. Kids cannot be expected to know something is wrong or know how to communicate it.
NTA the fact that you could come home and find random people there is concerning. What if the person was dangerous?
NTA your feelings are so real and valid. They were so wrapped up in their own lives they couldn't see what they were doing to you. You saying it to them may have made them realize they had neglected you.
NTA. I'll preface this by admitting I don't know too much about the dynamics of polyamorous relationships, and I have no desire to entertain one. That much being said, what consenting adults do in their own time is entirely their business. Your parents are still in the wrong, though. As is the case with any parent, introducing a partner to a child is a delicate process. Furthermore, that parent needs to ensure that this new relationship doesn't change the dynamic of the pre-existing. Relationship they have with their children. They owe it to their children to be parents before they owe their partner anything. Your parents completely failed to integrate these people into your lives in a healthy way and prioritized their romantic relationships before their relationship with you as parents. Furthermore, by allowing these people in and out of your life like this, you were forced to grow up in an extremely volatile and unstructured environment. Honestly, coming home to strangers in your house could be downright traumatic. It could be dangerous. It's completely unacceptable. Anyway, your father's apology wasn't genuine. He wasn't apologizing for his behavior, he feigned sympathy and simultaneously pinned this on you and your feelings. This communicates to me that he doesn't regret his actions, doesn't see fault in them, and probably isn't ready to consider your perspective. Only when he and your mother are ready to openly reflect on their decisions as parents will they be ready for this conversation. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. You're not mad at them for being polyamorous. You're mad at them for prioritizing their partners over you and failing to provide a structured upbringing in a stable environment.
NTA. And be careful that this wanting a nice calm chat isn't just your parents getting you in their house then trying to bully you into taking part in their documentary. They were totally neglectful people who deserve all you anger.
NTA. It wasn't your parents' polyamory that f***cked you up, though it was their bad parenting. They allowed strange adults around you all the time and neglected you when those strangers were around. They put you in potentially dangerous situations by doing so. Having a committed poly partner who is not a stranger and known to you would have been fine, but a string of randoms or new people that would seriously mess with any kid.
NTA. You were caught off guard by them asking you to be in a documentary they were going to be in, to back them up on something which you simply couldn't do. Well done for giving them the wake-up call that was a long time coming. I like your dad reached out to you, but we're sorry you feel that way isn't an apology. Good luck.
NTA. Do not back down and allow them to get you to recant. Op. Notice that they said we're sorry you feel this way, not we're sorry for doing XYZ. They gave you a non-apology. For making your childhood basically a wallflower to an orgy, no less. Edit. This blew up like Coke and Mentos, thank you kind strangers.